Hey, what's up, guys? Got another build to do today, and this is my favorite kind of build, and it is an all-new build. This is actually going to be for my boss, and he's going to have a flight simulator at his house. One of his kids is actually practicing to becoming a pilot, so I'm gonna put this together for him, and he's gonna have like instruments and all kinds of stuff going on it, and so his kid will be able to practice flying a plane at home. So better do a good job. But it's gonna be pretty cool. I've never built one of these before. I actually had to do a lot of research to figure out the parts that I was gonna put in this. But I did not have to buy any of the parts, which was great, because I know if you do a lot of PC flipping, coming up with the money for the parts and then waiting on it to sell or whatever, that can be the hardest part. This one is just do the work and get paid. So can't beat that. So the reason why we got these parts for this Flight Simulator PC, I'll explain them. We went with the AM5 platform with the 7600X on a B650 full-size motherboard, and we got this case. To me, it just screamed like a plane. I don't know how to explain it. It just looks like it goes in a plane. So, and they didn't want a bunch of RGB and stuff in it. I personally like RGB builds. I know a lot of people do, but this one's going to be like an adult version. And they just wanted to set in the corner, look nice, and not be real flashy. But I did talk them into getting at least some cable extensions. So we're excited about that. It's going to look good. And so I know a lot of people talk about the 4060, but for this use case scenario, it's going to be perfect. Because he's going to put this together. He's going to get all his stuff going as far as his instrument panels and all that stuff. And he's going to use it for a while. And then later on, he's going to put a little more money into it if he needs to. And then we'll bump it up. But for his budget and with an upgrade path, this is going to be the best option. Because I didn't want to go with an older GPU or anything like that. I wanted him to start out with all new stuff that's going to work good out of the box, and he'll be able to build on it as he goes. So for this, if he wants to upgrade it, he's got a good motherboard, take it out, put the 7800X 3D in it, and this, take it out, put the 4070 Ti Super or a 4080 or whatever, and he'll have enough juice on a good power supply that's going to get him going. And with this cooler that I got, which is, I don't know if you can see, it's just a regular old Thermalright cooler, which have never let me down ever. He'll be able to cool whatever he's going to put in there too. And it's going to look good, I think. So I guess now I got to build it. All right, so we got his motherboard out of the box. And I went with this motherboard because it's a full-size motherboard, so he's going to be able to add a lot of stuff to it. It's got a reinforced GPU bracket, which is good because especially if he does upgrade this to like a 4070 or a 4080 or something like that, it's going to be putting a lot of weight right here, which I have a like one of those GPU stands that I'll probably just give him. Because them GPUs are getting heavy, boys. They're like bricks nowadays. Some of them weigh like 5 pounds. Like, it's ridiculous. But he'll have 4 slots of RAM because I'm gonna put the specs of what Flight Simulator calls for on their like ideal settings right now. And so they were actually calling for 64 gigs of DDR5, which is insane. This one's gonna be recommended though. Right now, we can worry about the ideal settings in the future, and to keep it in budget, And so that's how we're going to be doing it right now. But the reason why I picked this motherboard, aside from being an ATX and having pretty good heat sinks and stuff everywhere, is the I/O in the back. So when you're building these these simulator PCs or anything like that, you got a bunch of stuff to hook in. So he's gonna have like a joystick, instrument panels. I think he's gonna have 5 monitors, I think. So he's got to be able to plug all that stuff in somewhere. So that's basically price and connectivity is why I went with this specific motherboard for this. And it's got Type-C, which so does our case. Which I really do like this case. I think it's going to look freaking sweet. All right, so got all this stuff installed, got the RAM seated, got the CPU in, and I got the M.2 in. And this was a pain, because I don't know if you can see in there, but that M.2 NVMe SSD is only this long. It's a terabyte, but it's only this long. This standoff is what holds that in place. This board did not come with an extra standoff. It only came with this outside. So I could move this outside to here and hold it down, but then that meant I couldn't use this cool looking bracket. So luckily I had some extra standoff, so it's not really that big a deal. That's why I save parts. Like, if you're gonna do this, save fucking every dang. Don't throw anything away. Like, save it, because now I get to use this cool little heatsink that is functionally not going to do anything, but it looks cool. And it's got to look cool, or I don't even want to do it. So, all right. So, I got the case out, got it on its side, ready to put the motherboard in. And just looking around, and I can already tell that me and this case are about to become enemies. There's no pass-throughs right here. This is all flush. The only pass-through is going to be right here, which should be fine. I'm going to have to move this cable because that is stiff. That motherboard won't even fit in there. And look how tight that cable is going back. So I'm going to move it up. That's nothing unusual. For some reason, these fans are always down in these cases when I buy them. Not just this particular case, which I've never dealt with before, but most cases I buy, the fan's always at the bottom. I don't know why they do that, but maybe to make it easier when they're putting it together. But I'll raise that fan up, give me a little bit more slack in here, and then once I get the motherboard mounted, I'll flip this thing around, look on the back, and see what we got as far as these cables. But at least everything's already sticking out at the bottom. I do kind of like that because, you know, saves me some time. All right. You know what? Now that I've opened the back, I take away everything that I just said. This is going to be really, really, really nice to build in this case. Look at all this room. Look at this deep-ass channel right here, man. I could just get all kinds of shit in there. That's going to be great. I don't even think I need to remove these. Like, usually I remove these hard drive trays and throw them away, but I think I'm going to have so much space when I get that power supply in here that I'm not going to have to. But if I do remove it, like, look at all that. That's a huge basement. That is so good. And then it's got all these ties right here. It's got a big channel going up the back. And that pass-through right there, it's not going to be bad. Okay, and then here's where that fan connects. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be easy. Alright, got the motherboard installed. Everything's looking good. And guess now I'm going to go ahead and put the power supply in. Okay, so here's the power supply. It's a 1,000 watt, fully modular ATX power supply. It's Corsair. Corsair makes really good power supplies. I mean, a lot of their stuff is overpriced, but for this particular build, being that it's probably going to have, you know, a pretty good long life ahead of it, This is going to be, I think, the best power supply for this. So let's throw it in. All right, so I got the power supply installed, and here's all my cables here, which isn't very many for this. You'd be surprised how much like RGB and all that extra stuff takes up like ports in one of these. And now I'm gonna put these on and start hooking up the motherboard. All right, got everything ran and somewhat cable managed. I don't get too crazy with the managing part until I get it fired up, but about to get the cooler installed and go from there. Okay, got the AIO installed and all the cables pretty much managed. Can show you the back, see what I got going on. A little more zip tying to do, but I guess now I'm gonna flip this thing on its back and get the GPU installed. We're getting ready to turn it on, and let's see if it works. Live action. And post. All right. Flight simulator. Oh yeah, she's ramping up.